Afternoon, and welcome to another episode of A Crooked Furrow, Understanding Our Times, by yours truly, the shirtless, the t-shirt philosopher. I'm afraid with this heat wave, it might be shirtless before long. I might even have to get my bathing drawers out, but I'll try to spare you that. Well, this is July the 5th. I hope everyone had a meaningful, fun, and safe 4th of July. I wanted to start a series yesterday on the independence, on liberty, the history of liberty. I hope you had time to at least consider that remarkable history and how rare is the liberty we have and have had in this country, how extremely rare. The default of human history is tyranny. So it's very, very important to understand the history of liberty and the history of tyranny. But it was such a huge topic that it overwhelmed me. Often in June, I'll spend the entire month of June writing about, thinking about the history of liberty. A good time to start is with D-Day, June the 6th, and then keep on up until the 4th. And it's just really, really a critical subject that too many take for granted. Too many are unaware of the history. But I can't get into it all now, but I would like to introduce a few ideas. First of all, Rufus Fears. There are a series of 3 DVDs, some of which you can watch on YouTube. But Rufus Fears, The History of Freedom, is excellent. It's all over YouTube. Another one is called The History of Liberation. I can't recall the professor in that one. Dennis, it'll come to me. I'll post it when I find it. Then there's another one by Alan Guelzo called The American Mind. Dennis Dalton, The History of Liberation, and Alan Guelzo, The American Mind. These 3 videos from the Teaching Company are just excellent. They'll give you a really good grounding, a really good background. And there's also a book on the Anglo-American tradition in liberty and the continental tradition in liberty. And that is something that Rufus Fears breaks down very well in his series of lectures. So need to be thinking about that. What is the Anglo-American tradition that the United States Constitution, the Declaration rather, and then the Constitution was the premier example in this long Anglo-American tradition and liberty? And how does it differ? How does it differ from the continental tradition? They have different philosophers, different ideas, different philosophers, and we need to look at that. Dennis Dalton, in his series of lectures, does a very good job of contrasting the individual philosophers in each tradition. So, excuse me. Another thing we need to consider is the influence of the Great Awakening. Really, 2 of the Great Awakenings. And because of that, the influence of the Protestant Reformation on America. There are really 3 influences in the history of the Western world that we're going to be talking about, 3 worldviews. And the 2 from which our freedom is derived come from the Enlightenment, and they come from the Reformation. The other one, the one tyranny flows from, comes from the Romantic movement and German idealistic philosophy, and it really has roots in Eastern thought. We're in an Eastern paradigm now. The foundations of the Western world have been crumbling for some time, and I'm afraid to say they're falling. We're losing this precious freedom we have.